guys.
Good evening from Chicago. It's really cold. Unfortunately, you could say the same thing for both DePaul and Providence on the hardwood. They meet in Game 2 of our Big East doubleheader. Both teams looking to heat up on the court. Welcome to Wintrust Arena in Chicago's South Loop. He's Nick Baugh, former Creighton Blue Jay. I'm Chris Foster's. It's January 17th. I don't think it's too late to wish you a Happy New Year's, Nick, but if only I could say the same for both of these teams. Both programs winless in January so far.
Yeah, and once upon a time, just a couple of weeks ago, Providence was ranked inside the top 25, but they've been navigating life without Bryce Hopkins. And I think the big thing is you have two teams that are hungry for a win. Both coaches talk about matching the urgency from one another. I think we're going to see a competitive game because both teams really need a dub.
We'll take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Jeep. There's only one. And yes, Providence, you could tell by talking to their coaches, still recalibrating a little bit with Bryce Hopkins out of the lineup. Still a really good starting five led by Devin Carter. And for DePaul, Chico Carter Jr., no relation to Devin Carter. The two Carters were teammates at the University of South Carolina for one season. They meet on opposing benches tonight. The Big East Conference standings, as you just mentioned, Nick, Providence not that long ago was in the top 25, a win tonight, and the Friars feel like they're back on track, I think.
I think so, and Providence, they have their week off after this game, so this is an important game for them to feel good about themselves going into the week break, and that'll give them an opportunity to slide themselves under the microscope, as it's really challenging, obviously, in the middle of the season to lose an important player like Bryce Hopkins.
There is Kim English in his first season as the Friars head coach, considered one of the up-and-comers in all of college coaching, 2 years at George Mason. And Tony Stubblefield, no longer the new guy on the Big East coaching block in his third season, but has had the unenviable task of really rebooting his roster in each of his 3 seasons here.
Yeah, he's had to replace his leading scorer each year. And it's kind of the name of the game for everybody anymore in college basketball. You're having to retool your roster each and every season. Now, something interesting that we talked a lot about is DePaul's hung in there in a lot of games, and then there's a 2, 3, 4 minute stretch where there's just a little bit of a lull and the game gets away from them. So something to keep an eye on is DePaul weathering storms and trying to stop the bleeding if a run from the Friars occurs.
DePaul wins the tip. Deshaun Nelson with the pass to Jalen Terry, who's healthy again for DePaul, a team that's been banged up since the start of the season, gradually getting healthier as Deshaun Nelson misses the game's first jumper. Devin Carter, number 22 for Providence, having an outstanding season for the Friars. He drives, misses the finger roll. Rebound batted out of bounds and stays with Providence.
Yeah, Providence without Bryce Hopkins, they got smaller as a team. They're not as physical as they were with Hopkins, and that was kind of the identity of their team. And this was an excellent defensive team and still is, but they're just a little bit different now because of the lack of size at that 4 spot.
DePaul runs. Here's Elijah Fisher, the sophomore out of Toronto, and he scores for DePaul.
And Tony Stubblefield said, we need to get our 3rd and 4th scorers playing more consistent, and that is Oden and Fisher. It's a good sign that Fisher got an easy one in transition right out the gates.
Chico Carter Jr., Deshaun Nelson established 1-2 options for DePaul, and Devin Carter, the unquestioned number 1 now for Providence.
Carter's having an incredible season, right? I don't know what else you can really even say about the guy. You know he's a two-way player. He's improved as a 3-point shooter, and I think that's just unlocked his whole offensive game.
Jalen Terry trips. 9 to shoot for Nelson, and DePaul. Nelson hoists the 3 and hits it.
Just his 9th made 3 of the season. He's capable out there. So Tony Stubblefield would much rather see Deshaun Nelson in the paint and going to work in the post.
Sometimes he thinks he's a 3. And he's also very good as a 4 or a 5. A traveling violation there on Jaden Pierre of Providence.
Well, Providence is going to deny passes, one pass away. So look, Deshaun Nelson's trying to get it to someone. There's no one really available, so he has to turn and let it fly with the shot clock winding down. But Nelson's been pretty consistent scoring the ball in the paint. Hopefully he doesn't get one jumper to go down and then fall in love with the 3-point shot, but he needs to have a paint mentality.
Here's Chico Carter Jr., a little bit long on the 3-point try. Providence the rebound. ticket gains for Josh Oduro outside the lane. Oduro matched up with Nelson. Terry comes in on the double team. The kick out to Pierre for three. Knocks it down.
Great play from Josh Oduro. Just get him touches. Love playing through him. Late double team comes, handles it really cool and calm, and finds Jaden Pierre for an open three. How Providence shoots the three is really important as well. Not a great three-point shooting team. It's a good sign that Pierre hit one early.
Yep. Providence just a little bit over 32% as a team from three-point range. And there's another try for Nelson. You were concerned he might fall in love with that after knocking his first one down.
And I think Oduro's going to stay in the paint and dare Nelson to try to take the bait of shooting some threes.
Well, Deshaun Nelson has struggled with foul trouble, and he picks up one there.
But you see the double team. Jalen Terry's got to be stronger in that double team. One thing you cannot have happen is when you come double is they split the double team, and that's what Oduro did. He's pivoted right through it, and then he's got a clean window to hit that opposite side for a three.
Nelson tries to sell the charge, and he does.
Dangerous, right, Chris? So you already get one foul. And he beats Josh Oduro to the spots. A set play out of their base and out of bounds. They love to throw it to the elbow, and Oduro with his left hand, little ISO drive. And Nelson will roll the dice to try to take a charge, and he wins it.
James Breeding, Bert Smith, Tommy Morrissey are officials. They bought what Nelson was selling.
He sold it. He went down hard, didn't he?
Sure did. Jalen Terry for three.
Terry's a guy that's just starting to get his groove. Had a really bad ankle sprain right before the start of the season. And this is his 9th game of the season. But he's been Tony Stubblefield's right-hand man all the way back to Oregon.
He's worked his way into the starting lineup. This is his 4th straight start. Speaking of working your way into the starting lineup, Corey Floyd got the start for Providence tonight. He misses that short-range try.
It'd be nice to see Corey Floyd Jr. get that three-point jump shot rolling. He shot at 41% a year ago. This year, just 5 for 32. I think that's why he's getting the start, though, is because he's a capable shooter.
Nelson and Oduro, this is the big matchup to watch tonight, and Nelson travels there.
Well, take another look at it as Nelson. Easy call for the official. Definitely drugged that left pivot foot. But if DePaul's going to come with double teams on Josh Oduro, I love continuing to get him touches. And let Oduro, who is a better passer than his stats would indicate, just play through him and get open shots.
Mac Etienne is checked into the game for DePaul, number 12. He's guarding Oduro right now. Three-point try, off the mark, long rebound, and a hard collision involving Elijah Fisher of DePaul. He ran right into Providence's ticket gains. Ouch.
Boy, oh boy. You said it. Hard collision. We said both these teams want to win. Any 50-50 loose ball, grab a helmet, because you might need one tonight in Chi-Town.
Ball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Good start for DePaul through the first 4 minutes. It's 8-5 DePaul over Providence. And this is what we mean by wishing you a not-so-happy New Year, Nick. Not you personally, but,
okay, good.
But for Providence, it's been, an 0-4 start after winning their first 2 games in conference play.
Yeah, and obviously this is the big story for Providence. Bryce Hopkins against Seton Hall tears that ACL, and since then it's just been a struggle. Had a close games though. The game at Creighton was close. The game against St. John's in the Garden was close. The game against Xavier shot the lights out and got away from him inside the amp. But just look at those numbers, Chris. With and without Bryce Hopkins, offense down, defensive points per game, you're giving up about 10 more points. And any way you slice it, life has been a lot more challenging for Providence without Hopkins in the equation.
On a personal note, too, disappointing that Bryce Hopkins can't play in this game specifically. He is from Chicago. A gorgeous pass from Jalen Terry to Elijah Fisher of DePaul, and that draws the foul.
A set play for DePaul out of the timeout. Providence said they were denying all those wing passes. Well, you set up a back door. Elijah Fisher, good hard cut. Now he's at the free throw line.
And Josh Oduro, the big man for Providence, picks up his second personal.
That's significant. Certainly he is, with Bryce Hopkins out. Rafael Castro off the bench is more of a bouncy, skinnier 5-man. So Oduro's kind of the one power player in the front line for Providence.
Fisher goes 1 for 2 at the line. Here's Jaden Pierre. And now Carter drives on Fisher. Pierre. That's his second three-pointer of the night.
Jaden Pierre, great movement without the ball. Josh Oduro maybe got away with the hands to the face on that screen.
Chico Carter misses the runner. Oduro the rebound. Now Providence runs. Gaines for 3. Rebound controlled by Fisher of DePaul. Terry eyes up the floor. Jeremiah Odin. Rebound Fisher doing work on the glass, but Providence has it. It's Carter.
Had Providence in a cross match, and DePaul instead took a quick 3 from Odin in the corner.
Oduro is fouled by Jalen Terry of DePaul.
Well, Devontae Ticket Gaines is one of the Friars that is the most capable of knocking down threes. He's been really streaky, though, this year. He's had 3 games where he's hit 5 or more, but then he's had some games where he's struggled a little bit. They need him to be a little bit more consistent, but he needs to really, really be hunting shots because they need his point production.
He got the nickname Big Ticket his senior year in high school, had a monster season in New York State, and there's a monster jam from Rafael Castro. Providence has its first lead of the game now.
Listen, this is great base and out of bounds execution from Providence. Get the curl from Carter, easy read on the drop down. Really, really good stuff from Kim English's group.
KT Ramey on the floor for DePaul, along with Jaden Henley, as Tony Stubblefield implements his bench. There's Henley for 3. It's good.
Well, it started with a paint touch, though. Ramey got a piece of the paint and was able to draw 2, and then the extra pass to Henley for the 3, but it started with a drive into the lane.
Garway Dual. The freshman has it poked away by Henley, and DePaul in transition. Henley, the Euro step and the layup.
Boy, is that pretty. From Henley, the Minnesota transfer, had 18 starts a year ago in the Big Ten. So pretty experienced.
And he helps force the foul call there on Rafael Castro for a bad screen. Henley, what an explosion off the bench.
Nice little surge here. First of all, the nice slow Euro step through the traffic for the easy one in the open floor. And little hockey assist from KT Ramey gets the party started. I figured you'd appreciate that, Mr. Blackhawks. A nice little pass to Henley in the corner for a triple. I'm trying to speak your language, Chris.
Oh, you're doing a great job. Great job.
Nelson, I think he's got a mismatch. See if he can get in the post and say he's going to come out.
Well, that screen violation goes the opposite way now on Mac Etienne of DePaul. Etienne's first.
So it's always nice that there are times Devin Carter brings the ball up the floor, and then of course Jaden Pierre can bring it up the floor and allow Carter to think about scoring, running off screens, especially with Oduro on the bench. They really like to play through Carter.
Around the screen by Gaines, Carter on the dribble. Now Castro sets the pick. Carter, a contested floater.
Just great strength and patience. He got Nelson on the switch, goes through the ball screen, and then hits that seam with strength as there were some Blue Demon paws trying to rip it away from Carter.
Devin Carter's third in the Big East in scoring and rebounds per game. KT Ramey Missed the jumper. DePaul the rebound, and Carter, his teammate, falls on top of him, and that's a travel on DePaul. Tough break for Providence.
Really tough break because it looked like the Friars were going to have numbers in the open floor. Take another look at it. Just some friendly fire there.
We did not get to meet with Kim English at shoot-around this morning. He was at the surgical procedure for Bryce Hopkins as Chico Carter hits the jumper. Bryce Hopkins, we mentioned, from Chicago. He had his ACL repair in his hometown today. Coincidental timing.
Really is. And again, Bryce, if you're listening, man, our thoughts are with you. Hang in there. Still got a bright future in the game of basketball ahead of you.
Foul called there on DePaul. Foul goes against Jaden Henley, his first.
Yeah, with the Bryce Hopkins thing, I've always kind of had a love-hate relationship with the term next man up, because that insinuates that all men are the same. There aren't too many Bryce Hopkins type players out there. I get the sentiment of it where you got to have, hey, nothing changes, got to keep on doing what we do as a program. But it is, let's be real, it is really hard on the fly to navigate life without Bryce Hopkins.
Well, Jaden Pierre is certainly making that easier with his ability to knock down these threes.
Just love his shot selection. Everything's been within the flow of the offense, all assisted. It's amazing when you take the right threes, how much your percentage goes up.
Deshaun Nelson back on the floor, and he hits the jumper from the free throw line.
Like that, a little 4-5 ball screen with Nelson coming off it. You don't see that a lot.
Etienne still on the floor for DePaul as they go with a big lineup. Here's Josh Oduro for Providence. A couple of shot fakes, draws the foul, and hits the basket.
Well, this is a clinic here on post offense here. Step through, shot fake, go through the contact, potential three-point play.
Really fun start to our Big East nightcap here in Chicago. DePaul a 1-point lead midway through the first half. We had the chance to lend an ear to Providence's huddle and listen to head coach Kim English.
Hey, they're making some tough shots. They're making some contested twos. It's on us. Just stay the course. Can't lose Carter. Can't lose Rainey on single screens. Be physical.
First of all, I just love Kim English's cool, calm demeanor. And oftentimes coaches are into shot quality. They want high-quality shots offensively, and they want to eliminate high-quality shots defensively. And that's where that term tough twos comes in. And Kim English at least likes that he's forcing DePaul into tough twos. You got to continue to stay the course and trust that over the course of 40 minutes, if you're forcing tough twos, you're probably going to emerge victorious.
Kim English, after 2 years at George Mason, brought not only a decent number of players from George Mason to Providence, he retained some key players on Ed Cooley's former team, and it's a Providence team with some pieces just in a little bit of a funk right now, losers of 4 straight. Oduro completes the three-point play out of the timeout.
Yeah, Kim English brought in some talent, but retaining your talent, and that goes for everybody. Retaining your top talent becomes as high of a priority as anything in the offseason, and none more important than making sure Devin Carter stayed in Friartown.
KT Ramey drops it off in the lane for Churchill Abbas. And the young big man for DePaul, the freshman from Nigeria, with the physical play down low.
Boy, does Abbas passed the eye test. Wow. I mean, what a good-looking athlete.
Got to double check he's a freshman.
He doesn't look like a freshman at all.
There's a foul on the baseline. Devin Carter on the drive for Providence, and it's Abbas who picks up the foul for DePaul. Here's his last bucket, though, Nick.
big. Yeah, you're talking about a guy, 7'2" wingspan, 38-inch vertical, didn't start playing until he was 15 years old. And he's got all the physical tools, and he's just learning how to play. Pretty good job maintaining your balance, maintaining your pivot foot.
Pierre misses what would have been his 4th three-pointer of the game, and then there's a foul on the floor against Deshaun Nelson of DePaul. That's his 2nd. So, Nick, both of DePaul's big men have 2 fouls now, Etienne and Nelson.
So Nelson will take a seat, take another look at it as watching Nelson shoving Castro. 2 shoves in the back, and James Breeding all over it. And now Nelson will go to the bench here. And we'll see how much that impacts DePaul offensively. Again, DePaul's identity right now offensively over the course of the last 3-4 weeks has been pounding the ball into Deshaun Nelson. No, he's not in the game. Keep an eye on probably someone like Chico Carter to probably try and get a little more aggressive offensively for DePaul.
Castro splits the free throws as Providence is already in the bonus here. DePaul by 1. Henley pulls up, but another pivot foot dragged Nick. Traveling.
Yeah, I think it's the right call too. Henley, watch his left foot. He's got it set. He drug it just about 6 inches, and that's enough for a travel. Something we haven't seen from DePaul is some zone. Usually DePaul will mix some 2-3 zone in and some matchup zone. That could be a good way to navigate some foul trouble too.
Carter for 3. Short. Rebound DePaul. Here's Chico Carter. Remember, no relation, but former teammates, the 2 Carters at South Carolina. Floyd forces a jump ball with Churchill Abbas.
Boy, what a great recovery in the ball screen coverage. Corey Floyd kind of Velcroed an on-ball screen, but he didn't give up. He kept playing. Saw it was an emergency switch. Gets into that driving lane and forces a jump ball. That's a winning play from Corey Floyd Jr.
Floyd making his 4th start of the season tonight. Number 14 for Providence. Castro gets it off to Carter. Carter in the low block. Banging his way on Henley, and he nearly dropped it in over Abbas. It pops out. Here's Terry for DePaul. High pass, and Providence takes it away.
Numbers.
Rich Barron, the kick to Carter for 3. In and out. Floyd battling for the rebound, and it's off DePaul's Jeremiah Oden. Providence basketball.
Well, Carter's getting to his spots and getting open shots. He's just been a little cold. 0 for 3 from 3, 2 for 7 from the floor. That's a good open transition 3. And they're saying Oden touched it last.
Ticket gains the lefty. Hits the 3.
You gotta understand, scatter report, you can't leave the ball in the three-point line, especially when it's Ticket Gaines that has the ball.
One of the Kim English prospects who followed him from George Mason to Providence. Gaines in his grad senior year, and he forces the turnover there. Last touch by Oden. It's Providence ball.
That length from Devontae Ticket Gaines is pretty impressive in person, isn't it? He got in that passing lane, forced a turnover.
It certainly impressed me in shoot-around. You know, you watch certain guys on a screen, and then when you see him in person, it sometimes is different. And for Gaines, he's a lanky dude. And again, playing that 2-guard position too. Size plays up. Here's Floyd up to Castro. He's fouled.
Providence is screening great right now. They are really head-hunting guys and physical, freeing up guys on that ball screen. And that frees up Castro. Good job by Castro to high point it, go up with 2 hands. Castro's a bouncy 5-man off the bench.
Went to high school in New Jersey. He has heritage in the Dominican Republic.
He's had some good experience in battling Bryce Hopkins in practice, and even Ed Crosswell from a couple of years ago for Providence. You battle those guys on a day-in and day-out basis, you're going to get better.
Yeah. Carter curls to the free throw line. This is the jumper. Devin Carter, the rebound.
Both Carters kind of quiet tonight.
Devin gets his three-point shot going. That's an 8-0 run for Providence.
Well, Devin Carter, much improved three-point shooter. You cannot go under a ball screen. That is a no-no against Devin Carter, because he is going to stop and pop and buries a three. And you look at Devin Carter and all that he's done this season. I mean, he's in the Big East Player of the Year conversation. It has been incredible what he's done. You know he can defend, but what he's done offensively, 21, almost 22 points per game in Big East games. And keep in mind, 3.5 of those are without Bryce Hopkins, where teams are going to load up on this guy because they know he has to be the dude, the scorer. And that's the mark of true offensive greatness, is when you're the #1 guy in that scouting report and you still go out there and you get 20, you got some game when that's the case.
How about that 31-13 game against St. John's at Madison Square Garden? I mean, it's such a special place to have a career game like that.
He was spectacular in that game. There's just so much on his shoulders right now. You need to have Oduro or Ticket Gaines. Tonight, Pierre's knocking down some shots. He just needs a little bit of help in that scoring department.
That's Elijah Fisher for DePaul.
Well, we talked about how there's these lulls for DePaul where the game gets away from him. And I think Tony Stubblefield could sense that, called timeout. You draw up a play to get a shot, get 2 points.
Snaps an 8-0 run. That was a big bucket for DePaul. Duall wisely avoids the step-back three. Carter nearly throws it away. Floyd Jr. has it. Nifty reverse.
That's a great example of keeping your dribble alive. He didn't stop and hold it. He kept his dribble alive. I call it a Nash dribble. Steve Nash was excellent at that. Get around the baseline. You can free yourself up for passes and reverse layups.
Fisher from the elbow. Good. 7 points for Elijah Fisher.
But keep in mind, Elijah Fisher, he reclassified to the 2022 class. He was a 5-star recruit in the 2023 class. He should just be a freshman this year. It's a big-time talent.
Here's Terry for DePaul. Oden in the lane. Up it goes. A little too strong. Rebound tip to Devin Carter. Providence a 2-on-2. Carter. That's easy money.
Wow.
He's got 9.
The speed and the control, the balance of the two on full display from Devin Carter there. That was pretty.
All trying to hang in there in the first half. Only a 6-point game, but DePaul has been prone to runs. There's a turnover, and Castro, look at the big man with the rim run.
A little speed and grace from the big man, Castro. That's not easy to dribble at 90 feet and sidestep a guard for a layup.
6'11", and he runs like a deer, and DePaul lucky to avoid another turnover.
Let's take a look at Rafael Castro coming right into your living room. Big man handling it, stepping through for the layup. And then, my goodness, how good is this from Devin Carter? Friars.
Providence has hit 5 of its last 6 shots to build an 8-point lead over DePaul. And moments ago, we listened into DePaul's huddle with head coach Tony Stubblefield.
Guys, the ball is hitting stuff too much. Chico, it's too easy. It's too easy. That guy going forward, just driving in there. There's no resistance defensively, guys. There's no bite. There is no bite.
Stubblefield imploring his group to have a little bit more fight defensively. And this is the drive he's talking about from Corey Floyd Jr. just stopping and able to probe to the other side of the baseline. And no resistance, fighting the dribble penetration, then nobody coming over for rim protection on either side. And sometimes adjustments are schematical and some of them are intangible, and you got to raise your level of fight here as really Providence has started to settle in offensively.
As far as inside the huddle audio goes, I'd put that one near the top of the list.
Great, wasn't it?
That was great sound, Coach Stubblefield.
It's so cool that the coaches allow the access to get inside of these huddles. And we keep on saying it, that there's these lulls that DePaul, they're in one right now. Can they get out of this lull as Providence has started to sink their teeth?
On another steal.
Yes. Turnover's been a big issue now for the Blue Demons. That's their 8th turnover in the first half.
Here's Rich Barron out of St. Ignatius High School right here in Chicago. And he's whistled for the foul.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of former teammates in the crowd tonight. Middle school and high school teammates.
You know, Chris, if you look at it, both teams are shooting over 55% from the floor. But both teams are turning the ball over a lot. When both teams haven't turned it over, they've been scoring at a fairly high clip.
Jeremiah Oden, contested layup. Nelson with the offensive rebound, and he draws the foul.
Well, that's such a good contest, though, at the rim for Devontae Ticket Gaines, and doing it without fouling. That was textbook. Take another look at it. Ticket Gaines come over. He's vertical, hands straight up. That is just perfect. Young players out there, that's how you do it. Don't bail out guys swiping down on the ball. Just jump up, put your hands in the sky. Make the offense make a tough layup over you.
Ramey blocked by Gaines. The length again by Ticket Gaines. But DePaul hangs on. Nelson drops it off. Fisher for 2.
2 loose ball rebounds corralled by Nelson. One steals a possession and the other one ends in an assist. So good effort from Nelson, picking up some loose change.
He's got DePaul's last 6 points. Carter open for 3. Oh, a deep triple for Devin Carter. A dozen.
I'm telling you, he's such an improved three-point shooter. He made 35 threes the whole year last year. He's already got 42 on the season and counting. It's changed his offensive game.
Just became a 1,000-point scorer as well. He's got another rebound. He does that exceptionally well. What a dime to Rich Barron, who was blocked. And Fisher looking for the basketball. DePaul has it. Terry open. Ramey now launches a 3. Big bucket for DePaul.
Needed it.
Kim English thought there might have been a carry. That was missed. DePaul now down 6. Things opening up a little bit. 35-29. Providence the lead on the road late first half. All right, Rob, thank you very much. It's been a fun game.
Yeah, no doubt. Both teams shooting the ball pretty well. The turnovers have bit both squads as Providence on a run, but a big loose ball sequence there that comes up DePaul's way, and DePaul then knocks down a 3. But I think this has been a really entertaining game.
You just saw Devin Carter for Providence. 998 career points for Carter, who's a junior. So another bucket, and he'll hit the 1,000-point plateau.
Finally, a little bit of three-quarter court pressure from DePaul. Usually like the fallback zone out of this. We'll see what DePaul wants to do. It's like their zone. Have to identify Carter and Jaden Pierre and Ticket Gaines, the shooters for the Friars.
Here's Pierre. Floyd pumps and draws the foul. KT Ramey picks it up for DePaul.
Job by DePaul. They were trying to set a lob play for Carter, and DePaul sniffed it out, but unfortunately Ramey a little out of control in the closeout. Now Floyd's at the free throw line.
Floyd's got 3 points tonight for a Providence team that's looking to get back to the NCAA tournament with a first-year head coach, Kim English. Carter, beg your pardon, Floyd, 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Oden, guarded by Gaines. And a travel on Oden forced by Gaines.
Gaines has done such a good job the last couple of minutes of erasing opportunities at the rim for DePaul, whether it be via the contest here, one-on-one post-up, don't bite on the shot fake, and another turnover for DePaul. They're 9th of the half.
Gaines is listed at 190 pounds. He walled up there like he was 220.
He did, didn't he? And then he had great discipline to not bite on the fake and step through from Oden.
Here's Floyd, a rainbow 3 in and out. Rebound wrestled down by Fisher, and this is Terry for DePaul. The sling pass to Fisher, he enters the lane. And uses the glass, not quite. Floyd's got it for Providence. Now Carter. Castro sets the feet. Out of bounds, it stays with Providence.
Well, Providence has done a pretty good job hanging in there without Josh Oduro, who's been on the bench and with foul trouble. Castro's come in and provided good minutes.
Here he is again on Oden. He's got some touch. You know, I think about one thing that Tony Stubblefield, DePaul's head coach, told us. DePaul can't let the guy for Providence who averages 3 a game go for 12 or 15. Henley misses the 3. Castro averages 3 points per game for Providence. He's got 8 tonight.
That's a good call. And one thing that's been an issue, that's at least 4 points in base on out-of-bounds situations that DePaul's given up. And there's been a lot of time at shoot-around walking through, defending base on out-of-bounds situations.
Carter can really score from anywhere.
He's just so calm in the paint, under duress. And you're calm when you're strong. And Carter is a grown man.
Ramey misses the 3. There's Carter with the rebound. Here's Pierre. Outlet Floyd. Pierre with it back. Step back over Oden. A little bit short. Ramey the rebound, and Pierre fell. High dribble. Oden corner pocket. Off the rim.
Good call from Providence. Kind of slam on the brakes.
A 3-minute scoring drought for DePaul right now. This is kind of when it happened in their last game against Villanova.
Closing out the first half and the first handful of minutes of the second half, always really, really important.
Ramey just picked up his second foul for DePaul. So Carter hit 1,000 points with his last bucket. He's got 14. There's 15 just in the first half. He's as advertised.
It's amazing whether you talk to Kim English or anybody on the Providence staff and you ask them about Carter, the first thing they talk about is his competitiveness. Say he's got to be the most competitive, toughest player. And when you start there and then you add in the talent, you got a special guy.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, but what I would say the second thing they talk about Devin Carter after his competitiveness is his defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's his identity as a player. At least it was a year ago. And he still is defending at a high level. But you're right, they talk about his competitiveness, his toughness, and then his defense. And so you would think you'd be describing someone that can't score. Oh, he can score.
Right.
He can really score, especially this year. He is really scoring at a high level.
Offense makes for good highlight packages, and here's one right here.
Just a little bit of everything. Go under a ball screen, stop and pop. You know, a lot of this is just you can tell the game's slowed down for him, and he's playing with confidence. You back up off him, no problem. Stepping through 3 blue demons, still gets it up off the window and gets it to go down. 15 points, looking for his 16th in the first half. This guy shoulders a big load for Providence every night.
In his second season with the Friars, and along with Bryce Hopkins, another big piece retained by Kim English. This is an all too familiar script for DePaul as Providence slowly building its largest lead of the night late in the half. Carter, about a 14-footer that dies on the rim and falls through.
Really needed it. And if you're... Well, this is smart to try and eliminate a 2-for-1. And did a good job. So you let it, without touching, you let about 10 seconds of the game clock run off. So now there's only about a 5-second difference between the shot and game clock. Smart from Providence.
Carter, open lane. Layup good.
Oh boy, Devin Carter.
Takes it away. Just misses, but draws the foul.
Well, the Devin Carter show has broke out. Wow. I mean, first of all, a straight line drive from 45 feet just can't happen if you're DePaul. There's got to be some resistance and some help coming over. And then Smart jumping the inbounds pass. What a surge from Providence to end the half, and in particular, this guy, Devin Carter.
That's what's going to eat at him after the game, too. And I stole it. I missed that putback, though, on the inbound steal. He's got 2 free throws.
It's like the easiest shot he had the whole half, and he missed it. I mean, who's playing better than this guy in the Big East right now?
You got me.
Nobody's the answer.
It's a 20-piece in the first half.
Well-deserved rest here for the final 7.8 seconds in the first half.
Terry for Odin for 3. Long at the horn, and Providence takes a 16-point cushion into halftime. 11:15 to go in the half. DePaul led by 2. Providence goes on a 29-11 run to close out. Just about ready to start the second half from Wintrust Arena. A tale of 2 halves in the first half, if you will. A very competitive 10 minutes that Providence pulls away for the final 10 minutes of the frame, led in large part by Devin Carter. Nick Bach, Chris Foster's great to be with you from Chicago's South Loop. How does DePaul get back on track here?
Well, they got to guard the basketball a little bit better. Providence was 10 for 14 from 2 in that first half. A lot of them right at the rim. They also got to the free throw line, and they made 9 free throws. So it starts with guarding the ball. I could see DePaul mixing in a little bit of 2-3 zone to try to help their defense. Also got to quit turning the ball over as well. 10 turnovers for DePaul loomed large. And you got to find a way to slow down Devin Carter, who's just... he's on his way for 40. You know, I mean, he's getting anything he wants in the first half, having 20.
20 points in the first half for Providence's Devin Carter, and for DePaul's Chico Carter. He's DePaul's leading scorer, right around 12, 13 points a game, only 4 in the first half. He's got to get going.
Yes. kind of a perfect storm. Tony Stubblefield said, need Jeremiah Oden to get going. He had 0 points in the first half, 0 for 5. Deshaun Nelson got into foul trouble. I think that took away his aggressiveness, and Chico Carter is just not aggressive enough. Only 5 field goal attempts, 4 points.
Here's Elijah Fisher, who was a bright spot in the first half for DePaul, but he turns the ball over. And guess who? Devin Carter, right back to work in the second half for Providence. Josh Oduro on the floor also for the Friars, number 13. He battled foul trouble in the first half. Deep three, Devontae Gaines off the mark, and Oden the rebound for DePaul.
They were trying to get Deshaun Nelson a touch, and Carter just got the steal on the first possession, and there's another one.
2 possessions, 2 turnovers for DePaul in the second half, and Devin Carter with an and 1 bucket.
Do everything. Do everything. Stole the first inbounds pass to Deshaun Nelson there, picks up some loose change, and just good strength and poise at the final moment of his drive there. As you've seen a couple of those, when he gets ahead of steam, he does a nice job finishing under control in transition.
4 for 4 from the stripe tonight, and 8 of 13 from the floor. Now 5 for 5 and 23 for the junior from Miami, Florida. Second season at Providence, began his college career at South Carolina.
And he's really, really improved in his 2 years for Providence. He was a good player at South Carolina, but not this guy.
Oden misses the jumper, and DePaul is scoreless in the second half. Just a minute in, but 3 possessions empty, and Devin Carter draws the foul.
But again, that's guarding the ball. And that's just a little escape dribble to his left, and he's able to punch a seam and draw a foul. And Carter's doing it all here in this first half.
He's only a 66% free throw shooter on the season, but everything's going in for Carter tonight. Hasn't missed from the stripe.
It was interesting talking to Providence's staff about his improvement as a three-point shooter. They didn't really do anything to his mechanics. He's got a little bit of a hitch in his shot, but it comes out of his hands nicely. He's got good rotation. They said it was more about shot selection, taking the right shots. And I think he started the season taking the right shots, and it got him confidence. So now he can take some deep ones because he's in that great place as a player where you're just drenched in confidence.
Nick Tomlinson, who's on Kim English's staff, he spoke to us at Shoot-Around today and said, look, Carter's shots, here we go from 3. That one didn't go in, but a lot of them do. So as a coach, it'd be crazy to tweak it too much. Jalen Terry, KT Ramey, short from 3, and Oduro another rebound.
So the other thing we didn't talk enough about is Oduro navigating foul trouble in that first half for Providence. He only played just under 7 minutes, but Rafael Castro came in and played great in that first half in his absence.
There's Oduro, wide open underneath.
Great set play. Just a little cross screen, get the defense to fight over the top. Leaves that baseline vacant, and Oduro with the easy one.
He's got a handful tonight. George Mason transfer in his graduate season at Providence. Fisher, contested in the lane, drops it in, and DePaul's on the board in the second half.
Well, DePaul's got to figure some things out on this end of the floor. You got to have just a little bit more fight, toughness, talk, you name it. It's got to get better on the defensive end.
Oduro spins on Nelson, reverse, good footwork for the Providence big.
His quick spin game in the post is excellent. I think that's where he's at his best. It's hard to defend.
You saw Oduro play at his last stop. He did a George Mason game when his team took on Kansas as Nelson works him out inside for DePaul.
Yeah. I vividly remember seeing Kim English's group with ticket gains, and Josh Oduro inside Allen Fieldhouse did the game on TV. And my main takeaway was Josh Oduro is a high major big. It is a guy that can play in the power conference. And when he made the move, I knew he would be just fine.
Jaden Pierre with a good job of obstruction, if you will, by Oduro to clear room in the paint.
Well, you said it, just cleared the path on the drive.
There's a bucket and the foul for DePaul, a big answer.
White ball, white ball, white ball.
Chico Carter. And the foul on ticket gains of Providence.
Hey, John, get on the back three.
Sorry, no bucket.
On the back three. Red, red. George.
Nelson. Up it goes to Pierre. Alley-oop. Oduro throws it down.
John's got 12. John's got 12.
And Providence just getting anything they want. Open floor, half court, at the rim, doesn't matter.
Carter launches. Oduro the rebound. Floyd. Oduro. And he traveled.
Well, that was the lone blemish in the first 4 minutes here, the second stanza for the Friars. What a start. The quick spin from Josh Oduro, go to the opposite side in the layup, and the lob flush. It's all Friars here in Wintrust Arena.
Traffic moving across the Chicago River. We're about a mile south inside Wintrust Arena in the South Loop neighborhood. DePaul falling behind to Providence. It's a great time of year on the sports calendar. There are a lot of San Francisco 49er fans in Chicago rooting against Jordan Love and the Packers, who take on the Niners in the next round of the NFL playoffs. Coverage on Fox, 7:30 Eastern on Saturday. A lot of DePaul basketball fans just hoping for better days ahead for this program, but it is tough to dig yourself out from the basement in the Big East with how competitive this conference is.
Absolutely. And right now, there's no real schematical adjustment for Tony Stubblefield right now. It's just about getting in a stance, playing with some pride, playing with some toughness, stringing together some stops, because the defense has really eroded from DePaul here over the course of the last 10, 12 minutes of game time. As Fisher's been the one bright spot offensively for DePaul.
He's made 6 of his 8 shots. He's got a baker's dozen in the game. Here's Duwall, the freshman, 4-3. His first points of the night.
Talented kid. The shooting's the one weakness, I guess you could say, in his game at this point, but 4-star, top 50 recruit from California. He's got great length at that guard spot, and he's got great passing instincts as well.
Henley for DePaul draws the foul on Duwall. His first.
Talk about keeping the talent on your roster. Garway Duwall was originally committed to Ed Cooley, but Kim English kept Garway Duwall around. Got a bright future for Providence.
That's another DePaul turnover. That'll be quite a game. Providence versus Georgetown.
Oh, man.
Ed Cooley's return. Everyone in Friartown's got that date circled on the calendar, end of the month. Oduro out to Duwall. He lets it fly. A little bit long. Oduro, the offensive board. The putback. He's fouled by Mac Etienne of DePaul.
Another one of those quick spins. Just has great feel in the post. He looked to the middle of the floor like he was going to kick out, and then boom, spin baseline. So watch it. Rebound, corrals it, look to the middle of the floor, boom, spin. And just, first thing I wrote down watching film, quick spins. And I love when he's using his athleticism at that 5 spot.
Pretty fleet of foot.
Yes, he is, isn't he? So you got to play to your strengths.
you know, now in his grad year with a high major program, didn't have many high major looks in high school. He was on a really good high school and AAU team, but developed a little bit late physically, so he didn't get a lot of playing time, didn't get a lot of eyeballs on him. So a late bloomer, but he has found his stride here in the Big East.
Yeah, and oftentimes those frontline players, those 5-men, can be late bloomers because they either develop physically or their body's not quite there with them. And Oduro's one of those guys who has just blossomed into a tremendous college basketball 5-man.
Chico Carter pulls up, and in it goes. Count the basket. And a foul called.
They get it away from the ball. I think they got Jaden Pierre maybe an off-ball foul. So Pierre's going to get switched onto Etienne and a shove.
They said count the basket.
I believe so. I think it was after the shot. Take a look one more time. Yeah, so DePaul's going to retain possession.
Henley steps inside, blocked by Dual, but it stays on this end with DePaul. Etienne, the UCLA transfer. Chico Carter. Etienne bangs his way on Oduro. Didn't get very far and would have been a shot clock violation if Providence hadn't come up with it.
Just excellent team defense on the perimeter and inside from Providence there.
Drive and kick to Gaines, and it goes.
Boy, is Providence in a groove offensively. Wow.
Chico Carter off the rim. Odin hunts down the rebound. And Carter down there battling for the board, forces the tie-up with Henley.
Another job by Ticket Gaines contesting without fouling, and Carter, he doesn't lose too many of those battles, does he?
Here we go.
Again, Devin Carter, 6'3", but hauling in over 8 rebounds a game, third in the Big East in rebounding for a guard.
Yeah, he is the perfect example of someone, they say someone plays bigger than their size. He definitely is.
Oduro fouled hard by Etienne, who did everything in his power to avoid the dunk.
Tony Stubblefield searching for answers, goes 2-3 zone and immediately right to the middle of the floor, then to that short corner, and you draw a foul. So trying different things, but the result's the same right now for Providence having success offensively.
That's 4 fouls on Mac Etienne. Oduro offensively was one of the few bright spots for Providence in their 20-point loss to Xavier in their last game. He had 20 points. He's got 3 20-point games this season with Providence.
Yeah, they really need Oduro's offense now with Hopkins sideline. I mean, Hopkins, 15 points per game, 8 rebounds a game. So you need Oduro to really step up his scoring in the post and rebounding as well.
Here's Jaden Henley for DePaul. Knifes inside and a whistle. Foul on Ticket Gaines of Providence. That's his second. I think that is third. Henley's going to get 2 free throws here.
I do think the young wings got potential for DePaul. Henley, Fisher. Henley just a sophomore, getting 20 minutes a game at Minnesota a year ago. had 18 starts. So he's got some experience under his belt. He's got size. Those guys just got to keep on sticking with it.
It didn't seem like a dispirited bunch in any way at shoot-around.
Not at all. You didn't know DePaul's record. You wouldn't have been able to tell with their energy, effort, talk, enthusiasm. That's all you can do. You got to continue to pour into the process. Does you no good to pout. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you in the Big East. You got to continue to fight, stay together, stay positive.
Carter off Chico Carter. And they are friends, by the way. They met at Big East Media Days and enjoyed that shared moment together. Four on the shot clock for Providence. Garway DePaul gets it into Ticket, gains. Long rebound, Odin. Poked out from behind by DePaul, and Churchill Abbas tries to keep it in bounds, but it's Providence basketball.
Just seems like every 50-50 ball, every loose ball, long rebound, tap out somehow has just gone to the Providence Friars. DePaul using that 6'11" wingspan to poke it free.
6 turnovers in the half already for DePaul, 16 for the game. And you know, Providence has long had a reputation for being a great defensive program. Providence has cut down on its turnovers as this game has worn on, just 1 in the second half for the Friars. Pierre pulls up. Friendly roll for Pierre. Chico Carter wiggles his way inside. Out to Ramey. And now Odin drives the lane. Too strong off the glass. Abbas keeps the pivot foot down and rocks the rim.
Wow. Oh, and unfortunately got a technical hanging on the rim just a little too long. Churchill Abbas. This is a pretty nice dunk. Hung on the rim a little too long. Pivot his way into options, and that option is a dunk. Trying to give Providence or DePaul some life here in Chicago.
Welcome back. Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Providence has opened this game up from the late stages of the first half, now into the second, and Devin Carter, 25 points, a very impressive performance.
In 25 minutes of action as well. He's got 0 turnovers. He's doing everything. See the 3-ball, stepping through, 3 blue demons in the paint, still gets it to go up and off the window. You know, he plays on the defensive end of the floor, tracking down the loose ball. Great patience and body control, going full speed to score with a head of steam, and he's getting his strut on, well-deserved afterwards. Just an amazing game. And stretch here, you look at the numbers with and without Bryce Hopkins. He has had to step up, and he has, increasing his points per game by 8 points. That's not easy because, again, all the focus is on him in that defensive scouting report, and he's still able to go get it.
It's our stat comparison brought to you by Jeep. There's only one. Jaden Pierre or Kim English now at the foul line. Did you, by the way, see that video that Kim English put out after playing Jaden Pierre one-on-one?
Isn't that cool?
That was, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, there's something to Kim English can ball. Dude played in the league, played for the Pistons, was a great player at Missouri.
1,500 points in college.
And Missouri is a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. So there's credibility there. And he stepped on campus and said, lace him up if you want a piece of this.
He's 35.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are a lot of dudes playing pro ball in the NBA and overseas that are even older than that.
Yeah.
Much older even. He's half of Rick Pitino's age. There's a bucket for Rich Barron.
Pretty good roar for the Chicago native. Yep.
St. Ignatius High School, close to the campus of University of Illinois, Chicago, near west side of town.
Coming home and playing in front of your family and friends is always a little tricky.
This is Garway Dual, stripped by Chico Carter, but that's a foul. That's what we were talking about with Kim English, though. He is the youngest head coach at a major conference program.
But he doesn't carry himself like it at all. He has a confident, calm demeanor about him. Even in games on the sidelines, never too high, never too low. You watch him operate and shoot arounds. He's very cool, calm, and collected. You listen into the huddle. He's just got a really good way about him. He's learned from some great coaches, too. Rick Barnes, Tad Boyle.
And underwent a coaching change himself as a player at Colorado as Fisher drops it in. I'm sorry, Missouri. So, you know, can kind of relate to a lot of guys on his team that way also. Alley-oop, Castro from Dual.
What a great back pick set by Devin Carter, too. And because Carter's such a good scorer, you don't want to leave him. And Castro can fly. He can play above the rim.
It's a 30-point lead for Providence on the road. On their way to ending a 4-game skid in the Big East.
It's amazing. Providence has had a hard time scoring the last couple of games, but not tonight.
Odin is fouled, and that foul is on Barron, they say.
So see the great back pick from Devin Carter, and you throw it anywhere near the rim, and Rafael Castro is going to fly in there and snatch it. Just good offense, good execution, good screen, good lob. Been a good night for Providence.
Jeremiah Odin is a local product as well. He's from Chicago. By way of Wyoming, which is the program he was at before transferring into DePaul.
Yeah, he's a good player there. 9 points a game. Helped Wyoming get to an NCAA tournament a couple years ago.
His dad played at DePaul.
Yep.
1 for 2 at the line. Dual kind of running the point right now for Providence. Dual has started some games for the Friars this season. Came off the bench tonight. It's Jaden Pierre on the dribble. Throws it up to Castro. He was stripped by Terry, but sticks with the play.
Providence is 11 for 16 from the floor in this second half.
Fisher from the extended elbow in his bag. Fisher's the only blue demon in double figures. Dual, too strong on the layup, but it's batted out to Barron. He hits the 3 and listen to the crowd.
Incredible. How many tickets does Rich Barron got?
Just eyeballing, I mean.
That's a lot. You got like 3 sections.
75? Yeah, I mean, 2 big sections filled behind the Providence bench with Rich Barron fans. Ramey misses the layup. Pierre all the way draws the foul. That's on Nelson. 3 on Nelson.
This has just been, again, it was a 1-point game. 10 minutes into the first half, and it felt like we were on our way for a dogfight, and this thing is just completely flipped in about 22 minutes of game action.
Providence ended the first half on a 29-11 run. They are now outscoring DePaul 35-21 after that made basket by Jaden Henley, who has 9 points. Oduro on Etienne, short, rebound Terry. Terry pulls up off the front iron. Etienne puts it back and down it goes. First bucket for Mac Etienne.
I think that's what Tony Stubblefield's looking for. Who's going to fight? The final 7.5 minutes here, he wants to see guys that are at least going to stick their nose in there and battle and compete.
That's a foul on Etienne. That's his 5th.
Well, Rich Barron, the Chicago native, done a nice job having all his friends and family giving him a show with a knockdown triple, and Kim English all smiles for the Friars.
Hard to beat that skyline. Hey, traffic's moving for a change. Good to see. Doesn't always happen in Chicago, no matter the time of day or night. Providence, what can you say? They've opened this one up and on their way to snapping a 4-game losing streak. And in spite of that skid, still hanging around the NCAA tournament picture in Mike DeCourcy's next 4 out.
Yeah, and Providence, they have 2 really high-quality wins. They're 2 and 3 in Quadrant 1. A dominating win over Wisconsin back in mid-November, and then a nice win over Marquette as well, both at home. You see the strength of schedule, that net. Obviously, you're going to have numerous more opportunities for high-quality wins. UConn, got Marquette again. Going to have Creighton coming to town as well. This is a team that is absolutely going to be in that NCAA tournament conversation, and it takes a little bit to try and find your footing when you lose a star like Bryce Hopkins, but Providence has looked like a buzzsaw tonight on both ends of the floor.
DePaul misses the free throw, and you mentioned that they have their bye week coming up. They don't play until next Wednesday as Jalen Terry drops it in. I mean, I don't know, coming off a win like this, you almost want to, let's play on Saturday now. Let's keep it rolling. But that's the way the schedule is.
Yeah, and so, yeah, it's all how you want to look at it. I think the week off is probably pretty good, especially for a guy like Devin Carter, who's logged some heavy minutes, gets some much-needed rest. Same with Josh Oduro.
Speaking of, here's Oduro over Abbas. That's a grad senior on a freshman.
Oduro's had a big second half.
Yeah, 15 points, I think just 3 in the first half. Here's Abbas. He draws the foul.
Man, got a live body, doesn't he? I mean, he's a good-looking prospect. You can tell he's just still a little raw.
A lot to work with there.
Yep.
Abbas is out of the NBA Academy in Senegal, in Africa. And that was one of the first stops for Tony Stubblefield last offseason. He flew to Senegal to meet with Abbas. And also Laji Kamara, who's another product out of the NBA Africa Academy on DePaul's roster.
They're both guys that are great athletes. They're long. They both got our 7-foot wingspans. It's amazing how much the recruiting game has become global. And, and you got to search everywhere. There are good players all over the place.
Abbas misses them both, however. DePaul to Oduro with 7 to shoot. Floyd curls in the lane. Too strong, but Oduro cleans up the trash. 17. Ramey a drive on Barron, and he draws the foul.
Credit Corey Floyd here on the previous possession, not forcing up a jump shot, instead attacking and drawing Abbas away from Oduro's body so he can come in there and clean up the offensive rebound. It's hard to find any bone to pick with how Providence has played, in particular in the second half on the offensive end.
I'm sure Kim English will find something.
Coaches always do, right?
KT Ramey hits both free throws. 8 o'clock local time tip-off tonight, and Providence had their shoot-around at 10:30 in the morning. And we asked assistant coach Nate Tomlinson, what are you guys going to do the rest of the afternoon? And you know, coaches just find things to worry about.
Right.
There's almost too much time.
Yeah, just sit in the hotel and did we go over our zone stuff enough? Oh, we didn't walk over that one set play.
Oduro, count the basket.
Yeah, Bass is, it's a tough matchup for him. You got an experienced post player who's got a lot in his bag, including those quick spins that are tough to defend, as Abbas wants to kind of lean and use his body on him, and those quick spins are tough to guard.
Henley skims the rim and Floyd the rebound. Batted out of bounds by Henley of DePaul. And you said it though, for Josh Oduro, a tale of two halves. 3 points in the first, 6 of 7 from the floor in the second half.
They just got into foul trouble in that first half, but Castro held it down for him in the first half. Then he's come in and played really good in the second half.
He sure has. Gaines underhands it to DePaul. DePaul. Boy, you see the athleticism there for the freshman.
Yeah, DePaul, once he gets that consistent jump shot rolling, there's nothing he can't do. And he can handle it. He's long. He's got good passing instincts. Just got to tighten up that jump shot a little bit, get a little bit stronger. And you're looking at the next great Providence guard.
It's Corey Floyd who picks up the foul for Providence. Deshaun Nelson quiet in the second half, DePaul's second leading scorer. Off the missed free throw, Gaines picks it up for Providence. DePaul around the Castro screen. Floyd looking for a paint entry, instead it's Barron. Floyd, baseline, underneath, reverse.
He's only has 6 points, but I think Floyd's played well.
What do you like about his game?
Well, I like how he's drove the ball. Another turnover from DePaul.
Gaines, DePaul. No need to refine your jump shot for looks like that.
Garway DePaul from Cali to Providence, but tonight he's in Chicago. Duncan.
Two teams looking for their first win of the calendar year, and Providence is 354 away from just that. Our coverage of Big East basketball rolls on Saturday. How about this doubleheader on Fox? Number 17 Marquette against St. John's, and then over to the Pac-12 while we can still say so. USC versus Arizona State.
That Marquette St. John's game is going to be fantastic in Madison Square Garden as you take a look at what the Big East has been able to do thus far. 25 quad 1 wins, 9 teams in the top 75 of the net, which is just eye-popping and outstanding for the conferences. There's just going to be so many high-quality win opportunities as conference play rolls around as we take a look at the conference standings. How about Seton Hall? Picked 9th, and quite the surge from Shaheen Holloway's group. Kadari Richmond leading the way for the Hall. Really put it on St. John's last night. It's been the surprise so far, and UConn thoroughly dominated the Creighton Blue Jays in the game before us. And Donovan Clingan back into the lineup. I think there's a reason they're the #1 team in the country. Hard pressed to say that UConn's not the best team in the land at this point.
Well, as you can see, playing in one of the best conferences as Elijah Fisher hits the jumper. Fisher with 17 tonight to lead DePaul. Barron hits the three-pointer and draws the foul, the hometown kid.
There's no doubt the loudest roars have come when Rich Barron has knocked down shots. Tell you what, the Chicago native, he's only got 8 points, but he is raising the roof in Wintrust Arena.
Chance for a 4-point play. Here's the story of the game, especially from an individual perspective. Devin Carter set the tone for Providence first half. Josh Oduro has had a great second half.
Yeah, no, Oduro, he only had 3 points in the first half, in large part because he's in foul trouble. But when he came out of the locker room, shot out of a cannon, doing a little bit of everything, catching the lob in transition, doing a nice job playing with his back to the basket on the pick and roll, cleaning up the offensive glass for the tip jam. He has been fantastic in this second half. Josh Oduro.
And again, there is a void that Providence needs to fill with Bryce Hopkins out of the lineup, tore his ACL on January 3rd against Seton Hall. If I recall how you worded it, you know, it's not like Providence needs to fill his 15 points per game. It's more like lowering the other team by 15 points.
That's what I talked to Kim English before the Creighton game. That was the first full game without Bryce Hopkins, and that's how he was spinning it. He was saying, a lot of people look at those 15 points per game and say, okay, how do we find 15 more points? My thought is, let's hold the other team to 15 fewer points, and that's, I think the identity of this team is defense. They're at KenPom top 15 defense in terms of defensive efficiency, and so tonight that defense has been on display, but the offense has as well. And they're potentially going to hang 100.
And 96 right now. That is a season high. Barron, who just had the 4-point play, heaves it to Donovan Santoro, #2, getting his first game action tonight. Santoro, a little bit long, Abbas the rebound. Ramey lets it fly. Rebound, Barron. Luke Fonts on the floor for Providence. Wraparound pass, Castro, and Santoro met at the rim. He draws the foul.
Always fun when you get some of the walk-on scout team guys on the floor. Fonts, O'Hare, with a nice cut from Santoro. Now he's at the free throw line. Coming in, getting him up right away.
Santoro is from LA. This is his first action since January 6th at Creighton. You saw him in that one, right, Nick?
I did. Trying to shake off the miss. It's always hard to sit for 37 minutes to come in and make it happen.
There you go. There's one for Santoro. Kim English actually visited Santoro after he had been hired by Providence, but before his introductory press conference. There's Kamara with the jumper. Also on the NBA Africa Academy. That's his first field goal of the season, as a matter of fact. Barron. Santoro. Out of bounds. DePaul basketball.
Well, it'll be interesting for Tony Stubblefield if this is one of those games you watch the film and you point out every little problem, or is it a burn the tape and try to turn the page? I mean, it's always a tough balance when you're having a tough stretch on how much do you kick him in the behind versus pat him on the back.
DePaul's next opportunity this weekend in Indianapolis against Butler. Barron blocked and fouled by Mo Saul. You're talking about how Providence has a week off coming off a win. If you're DePaul, I'm glad you've got a game this weekend. Just flush this one.
No doubt. When you have a game like this, you just want to get right back to it.
DePaul's next test against Butler, expanding the scope a little bit. Checking out their schedule. Next home game is against Marquette. Barron matches the number on the back of his jersey with 10 tonight. Out of bounds, it stays with DePaul. Here's the next 3 games for the Blue Demons. Got a couple of them for you right here on FS1.
To the next 3 on the road.
Abbas on Castro. Abbas. Man, fouled.
He's got some potential.
I agree.
It's big, physical, active.
Just tip of the iceberg for Abbas. And a freshman coming over from Nigeria and Senegal. Here's Providence's upcoming game. Schedule, that is.
So in a week, they'll get a crack at essentially the hottest team in the conference, Seton Hall.
Yeah, 6-1. Seton Hall in Big East play.
And a date with the #1 team in the country on the 31st.
Yeah, everyone in Friartown, you just have to say January 27th. And they know what you mean. That's Ed Cooley's return.
And the amp is going to be, the amp is already rocking.
Amped.
It's going to be extra rocking in there. That's one of the best home court environments in all of college basketball.
Santoro. Castro swats the rebound to Barron. Final minute, and Barron goes to work inside. It's good for Kim English to get Barron this run here, knowing that he's the Chicago guy.
No doubt. Again, we're not exaggerating. There's about 2 or 3 sections of a lot of Rich Barron fans.
A lot of black, white, and silver behind the Providence bench amid the blue seats of Wintrust Arena. So Providence hits the century mark. And the shot clock turned off. It's a road win in the Big East for Providence. This is their largest win ever against DePaul. And I guess you could say it now. Happy New Year for Providence.
Yeah. Well, if there ever was a get-right kind of a game, that's what it was for Providence. What a dominant performance on both ends of the floor. Devin Carter leading the way, but it really was everybody that played had a hand in this thing for the Friars.
It was Devin Carter with a big 25-point performance, and Josh Oduro follows up with 17. That's all we got for you from Chicago. Thanks so much for watching our Big East doubleheader on FS1. For Nick Baugh, I'm Chris Foster's. Stay warm, and thanks for watching.